Y'all, Sterling K. Brown is way better at this than I am. He just, you just taught me some stuff. Click on my message. That was so much easier than the way I was trying to add you. This is, y'all, this technology.
That was really, really funny.
Thank you for just, sticking in there with me and waiting patiently in the chat. Thank you
Oh,
all, everybody, for waiting in the chat, too. This is Sterling K. Brown, star of This Is Us, season 4 finale coming up in just 55 minutes. Are you excited, sir?
I'm very excited. I've watched the finale as you have as well, I understand. And I think we definitely leave the folks with something to talk about.
Yes. I mean, answers. I mean, you guys, first of all, you guys always leave us with a lot of questions, but we
Yeah.
also get a ton of answers in this finale. So kind of tee up for us, a little bit of a tease. Like, what can people expect to find out this go round?
All right. I think one of the major things that are going to be on people's mind is they know that Randall and Kevin are not talking to each other at their 40th birthday.
Yeah.
And so you see what transpires in this episode that leads to that rift, right? Um, People are curious about Rebecca's health. Um, and so you'll find out something that happens there. There's a really interesting sort of thing that happens with Toby and Kate, which I don't want to say too much about. But they tease us enough in the show. So I'll let their tease be sufficient in and of itself. Yeah, that's enough. That's a lot.
Yeah, you kind of hit everybody. You guys hit everyone. And okay, guys, real quick, I'm going to turn off comments for just a few minutes because we're going to get into a longer discussion about Randall, about the show, about especially Randall's mental health journey because that's been so much of a part of this season. But I promise I will turn the comments back on so we can get in, a couple of things that y'all want to hear more about.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye comments. But Sterling, my
Yeah.
goodness, it's been quite a season for Randall, really getting to dig into his mental health journey. We get you and Pamela Adlon in those amazing scenes in the therapy session.
Wow.
Omar Epps, another black man telling a black man to
Yeah.
go to therapy. What has
Yeah.
it been like playing this part of Randall's journey?
Well, I think on the macro level, I'll start with trying to demystify the idea that therapy is only reserved for something or for people where something is really wrong, right? Quote unquote. What does that mean
Yeah.
for something to be really wrong? What does it mean in certain communities, especially communities of color, Black, Latino, where we know that the world is hard? So it's like, do we have time to cry about our problems? You know what I'm saying? The motto is, it's hard out there, so fix it, deal with your stuff, and keep it moving. And that is something that has allowed us to get to where we are. But there's a place beyond the pines. There's a place that allows for a certain degree of vulnerability and access to be like, yo, I need help. I'm having a tough time with this. And there's certain blind spots that I have difficulty detecting on my own.
Yeah.
And seeing a professional helps. So me, Sterling K. Brown, I go to therapy. My oldest son, excuse me, Andrew, he asked if he could go to therapy. He's 8
Really?
years old, Angelique, and he said, Dad, I told you I have anger management issues.
Oh my
Why
goodness.
won't you let me go see somebody? And I was like, done.
You're
Done.
like, let's go.
We went to therapy, and it was interesting, too, because he's like, I said, you can go by yourself, big boy. Like, you can keep it can be all private, or if you want me to come with you, I can come with you. He's like, yeah, I want you to come with me. And so we had this really lovely moment, and I get a chance to raise a kid who has no stigma associated with the idea of asking for help,
Yeah.
right? Nobody's able to get there on their own. An objective eye is so beneficial, and I know not everybody has access. There are different, insurance carriers don't always have people in network. And so my statement on the macro is, if it is something that you have access to and you've been thinking about and you like worried about whether or not people were going to clown you or think that you were soft because you sought out help, try it, do it, own it. And what you find is that people will be like, oh, you go to therapy? And then that stigma that they had attached to it sort of goes away. Like, oh, snap, maybe I'll give it a try. So
Yeah.
that's the macro. of it, right? On a character level, this whole season has been fascinating for me, and
Mm-hmm.
and really enjoyable. Enjoyable is I have to put it in quotation marks because Randall's got an opportunity to not be on the popular side of things.
Okay, I'm glad you admit that because, like, I'm a little bit mad at Randall right this minute.
and, and you should be. And I understand why you are. Whether you are or you aren't, I understand why, right? Because, like, barring like the voicemail that he left in season 3, and when he told Beth maybe we should put a pin in her plans for
Yeah.
that was like, ooh, that's not going. That's a clutch my pearls moment. This year, like at the end of 417, last week's episode, when he hit that phone call to Rebecca, I remember reading it and I was like, oh man, that is, whoo, boy. And Sterling was like, I don't know if I would do that, but I had to put aside what I thought. It was like, I understand why Randall's doing it. I understand the level of loss that he's experienced, and I understand the responsibility that he feels, whether it's valid or invalid. I understand that he internalizes it to an extreme amount. And it's like, if I can do anything
Yeah.
to give this woman a higher quality of life for as long a time as possible, I'm going to do it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing for Randall. He internalizes everything.
Yeah.
Everything external is, and that's hopefully, what you guys are going to dig into more in therapy because that's his biggest struggle through his entire life. And it's hard because you can see it watching from an outsider's perspective. You see why he really just wants to help his mother, but then you can also see why, as we imagine we're going to see from Kevin, Kevin is not pleased that
No.
after mom already said, I do not want to do this,
Yeah.
he has now guilted her into doing this.
Yeah, yeah. When it goes down, it goes down. It goes down in such a way that I remember talking to Fogelman about episode 118, Moon Shadow, when Rebecca and Jack have their argument about her career. And I remember calling Dan. I was shooting Predator in Vancouver, and I was like, Dan, you sure you want to end the season like this?
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh,
this is hard, man. This ain't that feel good joint. And he's like, I know, but sometimes we gotta explore the darkness so that we can earn the light, right? And
okay.
so Dan said, you remember when you called me from Vancouver about the last episode of season 1? I was like, yeah. And he goes, this is worse.
Oh my gosh, worse. Okay, see, did you see me clutch my pearls? I'm like, oh, y'all, I hate to tell y'all are not ready. Y'all are not ready because, I mean, also what is so amazing about this show is just the way you guys all get to show off, the way that, you guys are having that discussion with you and Pamela Adlon. Now you and Justin get to go do this.
Yeah,
You and Mandy, even just on other ends of the phone
yeah.
last week. And also Niles Fitch in
Give it up for
417.
Niles!
Whoo,
Killed it!
he
Killed it!
killed it. So
Yeah.
amazing. What's it like working with a young actor? You guys both portraying Randall going through this. Getting to see his performance and how that then informs yours.
I remember when we got the script, he called me up, and he's 18, and he still insists on calling me Mr. Sterling. And I was
Oh.
like, bruh, you're 18 now. We can just go to Sterling. But he's like, Mr. Sterling, like, this is a big one. I was like, yeah, bro, it's a big one. He's like, how should I approach it? Like, what do you have any recommendations? I said, first, when you just start with the lines, you know what I'm saying? Let the lines inform you of where you are in this particular moment and the fact that there's two different versions of you. So, do what you need to differentiate them. You don't want to make them so like they're like two different people, just like a same person that took two different paths, right?
Yeah.
And I actually went the day that they were shooting the dinner scene. And I went
Okay.
and watched. I just went and watched because first of all, he was really, really excited and proud. He wanted to show me the step routine because
Oh, of course.
they've been working on the step routine. And I said, Niles, listen, I'm not Greek. My wife is Greek. You gotta come correct. Like you gotta. Then he's like, okay. He's like, okay, Mr. Sterling, I got you. And my man Niles stuck his foot in it. And you could see he got his little guns that he started showing to the camera. He started
Yes.
pumping them up. I was like, you better do the damn thing, son. But when he was at that dinner table, and so the version where Beth was not there, and
Yeah.
everything was uncomfortable. And he knew that it was his presence at the table that was making things uncomfortable. I remember watching it, and I was like, all right, we're good. Like, you don't have to say too much to Niles. Like, he's a very intuitive, very intelligent actor. I don't think that we ever intentionally copy one another, but the
Yeah.
writing is so good that the through line is clear. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah.
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 Kudos,
You
kudos.
you you can feel it. You can feel that it's the same person who's experienced those things as a younger man.
Yes.
Um, and I want to get back real quick to what we were talking about with mental health and the fact that right now, we're having this conversation apart because we are all going through this horrifying and very scary coronavirus
Yeah.
pandemic. And it's one of those things where, This Is Us Tonight is going to be great escape for a lot of people. But it is also a time where we're talking about mental health, I think, more than ever. So,
Yeah.
what kind of advice, tips, things are even you using in your life right now to kind of get through this?
Good question. So the thing that the show I think tends to highlight for people is the necessity and power of connection, right? Um, and how when you let things fray, um, that they require attention. They require a certain sort of steadfast cultivation, or else things can just sort of grow apart. Um, and things have been so fragmented in our country in terms of politics. It's hard to have conversations with people on opposite ends without them devolving into arguments.
Yeah.
And now, literally, we necessarily have to section ourselves off from one another, right? For the safety of our communities, for the safety, not just the elderly, not just the people with compromised immune systems, but there are younger and younger people who are getting infected and losing their lives from this
Yeah.
disease, right? So you're in your house, I'm in my house, but we're finding a way to connect, right?
Yeah.
I find that my wife had a Zoom call the other day with like her line sisters, which I thought was absolutely beautiful. Me and my friends have been on Marco Polo, just hitting each other up with little videos throughout the day, because it's nice to see each other's faces
Yeah.
and know that you're not alone, right?
Yeah.
Because so much of what happens inside of our minds, especially when we are dealing with different mental disorders, is that you feel like you're experiencing everything by yourself and no one else can understand.
Yeah.
So for me, I do try to take a walk around this neighborhood for an hour. There's not a lot of foot traffic. I got a little space. I start off with a little meditation in the day. I've been reading some Eckhart Tolle as of late. He's good. He's good. But whatever it is, to remind myself that we're all in this together. Like, even in seclusion, we're doing it as a collective, right? So whatever it takes in order to make sure that the community that you care about and who cares for you knows that you're well, do it. Don't feel as if you have to just cut yourself off from the world because you have to physically cut yourself off from social distancing. Find creative ways of reaching out and letting people know that you are well and letting them know that they're well for you.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to see that you're well, and I saw y'all at Club Quarantine as well with DJ D Nice.
Hitting it real hard. Yo, my man spun for like 8 to 10 hours. He killed it. And it was hit after hit after hit. My wife got mad at me. I said, she didn't know that I was recording, but like I thought it was going to lift people up because it lifted me up. And I
Yeah.
just adored. And metaphorically speaking, not literally, it ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. So,
And I mean, y'all are giving us some good content, though. I'm seeing y'all on social media posting all, like, well, the one you got in trouble for, but all these dancing videos, y'all and the kids. What are
yeah.
you guys doing during this time? I know you said you're walking, but what else are you guys doing in this quarantine together?
You know what's been interesting? So we have an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old, and our academic prowess is good enough to help a third grader with his homework. Brown
Okay.
is Brown is killing his 12 timetables. I still got it right here, Jack. So that's been fun. We've been doing different projects on the computer. He did a book report on Booker T. Washington. Got him working on one on George Washington. Just doing people named
Yeah,
Washington.
just Washington's.
Just
Washington's
Washington
only.
right now. We went outside. We have a pool. We're blessed to have a pool. Blessed to have heat on the pool because it is cold. But these kids don't care. So I was
Nope.
like, I jumped out there with them for a good 45 minutes until I was like, Daddy's cold. I got to
Yes.
get in the shower. My wife has been feeding us wonderful, delicious, healthy food. It's interesting. I had to go to the store the other day, went to Trader Joe's, and they have a line outside
Yeah.
because they have to, like, 10 people go out and 10 people come in. And everybody had their masks and they had their gloves. And it's like you do what you got to do to be safe so you can feed your family. And you don't want to do all this social distancing to go out and be foolish and then bring something back in the house.
There you go.
So with that's pretty much it. It's the grocery store, the drugstore every once in a while, the wife killing it in the culinary arts, and me and these children. It's a blessing in disguise in this way. I am blessed to have finished my job and have some downtime. And I miss my children during the season, and I'm often off going to go shoot a movie or something. And God said, we're going to press pause.
Yeah.
And we're going to take stock of where we are in life and the things that are most important. And I get a chance to spend time with these beautiful babies and my lovely wife. Yeah. And I'm blessed to be able to enjoy this moment, right? Because I know there are some people who are like, how do I pay my bills? How do I make sure I have enough to support? And to those people, I say, I feel you. My heart goes out to you. I'm sending you all the good vibrations I have. I'm blessed to be in this position. And I'm thankful I'm able to enjoy this moment.
That gratitude, I feel like the best thing that's coming from all of this is that people are really refocusing on what they have and what they can give and how they can just take talking yourself, which is why this whole storyline I feel like could not have come at a better time, and I look forward to seeing what's going to happen next. Also, this is the end of season 4 for you guys. Does it feel weird? You guys are now officially over the hump. You're one season past that, halfway point. It's closer to the end than it is the beginning.
So it feels like we're in the right place. And let me say this, because unofficially, we don't know how long it'll go.
True.
Unofficially.
True.
But the writers are building towards an end point, right? There is a story that Fogelman has realized in his mind, and he knew that 6 seasons it would take for him to be able to tell it. I will become more bittersweet when we get like to season 6. Like season 6 will be the moment where we're like, I may never have another scene with William. Yeah. I may never have, like, we only get a few Jack scenes a year, or one a year if we're lucky. So like this may be the last scene with Jack. I know when it comes to like the last scene with Beth, oh Lord.
That's going to be tough.
Brown will be a mess. With these beautiful girls that I get a chance to watch grow. I've watched these young girls grow up in front of my eyes. I'll be a mess, but give me another couple of years before the mess starts to happen.
I know. I saw your cool dad pic today. You really have. I mean, hello. We've got somebody joining us. And speaking of joining us, I'm going to turn these comments back on here too, because I had to ask you about Frozen 2. Frozen 2 dropped early to help these kiddies and the parents. Have y'all watched it as a fam?
We have watched Frozen 2. Oh, give me one sec. What's up, partner? Okay. I will play Madden with you after This Is Us goes off. And so it'll take me like another 2.5 hours. I know.
That's like a lifetime, Dad.
You can get your skills up, and then maybe you'll be able to beat me.
Oh, you don't go easy. Dad doesn't go easy.
Will you close the door for me, please? Thank you, son. He's like, I just want to play some Madden.
He's like, listen, Dad, you can work later.
Yeah, right. Sorry, what was your question?
No, I was saying Frozen 2 came out early for, the parents to be able to have when their kids need, a little alone time. Have
Yeah.
you had to send your kids to Frozen 2 school yet?
So they've seen it a few times already because we have mad DVDs. We've gone to the premiere, whatnot, but hopefully people are checking it out. My youngest son, we have been checking out Disney Plus. He just took down The Good Dinosaur. Then my oldest son, who's just in here, loves That's So Raven like nobody's
Ooh.
business. Like he's been killing Raven Simone like all day, and he laughs like uproariously, like he's watching. I don't know, whatever like your favorite comedy is. That's the way he gets into That So Raven. So those things have been happening, but hopefully, folks are enjoying some Frozen 2 and Lieutenant Matthias as well.
I mean, I was hoping that we would get that deleted scene. I mean, I guess it's not a deleted scene, but that singing scene. Just a little something from a Sterling.
There is. Listen, I can give you a taste of some. Okay, so the other
Give it to
day,
the people.
wait. So I love A Star Is Born, right?
Oh.
And I teased my wife the other day. We were on the red carpet for something, and I started just doing this whole thing as if she'd won a BET award or something. And I got up on stage with her and just totally embarrassed her and started singing the song and then pretended like I peed on myself. And she's like,
Oh
"What is?"
goodness.
She's like, "Yeah, I go full tilt. I go full
Oh
tilt."
yeah.
So, but my wife from time to time will do cabaret shows, right? And she said, in my next cabaret show, I would like to do Shallows with you. And I was like, all right, I'll do my little thing. So I'll give you just a taste, right? Okay.
Please.
How's it go? Wait, wait. Tell me something, girl. Are you happy in this modern world? Or do you need more? Is there something that you're searching for? I'm falling. That's it. That's
Oh, I mean, I'm like, where's Ryan? We need to get up in here. We got to give y'all are probably gonna, well, I guess TikToks for the dancing, but we'll
we could
take
do a
it.
little TikTok for the song. I see what we can do. I
Yes,
see
we
what
got to
we can do.
start a new challenge. There are all these challenges out there. We need a shallow challenge.
I can do shallow challenge. I can do it. Deal.
Well, thank you so much. I saw someone in the comments mention that you described this season finale as moist. So can you explain that? Because listen, like we already have a toilet paper shortage. Do we have
Okay.
a
Yeah.
like what's up?
The inspiration is the eyeballs will probably be a bit damp, a little bit moist. I use the word because there's so many people that have a very visceral response.
Me, didn't love it, did not love it, but cool. Do what you got to do.
I know there's a very visceral response, and so I do things because I'm an instigator. That's the role that I play amongst my family, amongst my cast. I just love to mess with people. But the eyes may be to get a little something.
All right. Well, we will be looking forward to a little tears, a little distraction. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. And thank you for singing some shallow for us. We'll be keeping an eye on your TikTok for that shallow challenge as well.
Deal.
All
Thank you,
right.
Angelique.
Bye. Thank you so
Bye.
much. Bye, everybody.